Yeah, well, 1,000,000% Pat is a mentor. He's a friend. He started off as a colleague. He's like a big bro. He's almost kind of like a father figure in some capacity. He's just that dude. Pat's been battle tested. He's been around the block. It's kind of hard to say, stop it, Pat. You don't know what you're talking about here. Now on the podcast, we'll have, minor disagreements, but in real life, I will never talk back or like try to marginalize what he does just because I've seen him do it. It's not like he came from money. He came from, born in Iran, made in America, 1.8 GPA, but put in the work, much like, rest his soul, Charlie Kirk. Didn't go to college, just read a gazillion books, became a leader, became a man of faith, became a family man. And it's someone that I think any of us should strive to be, because it's, 80% I think of millionaires are first generation millionaires. So when you see someone like Pat do it, anyone can do it. There was nothing, like as Pat always says, there was nothing that he could have seen in him that he would have been, nearly a billionaire at this point. But for me, it's always, a mentor doesn't always need to be like, you suck, I'm great, let me show you the way.
Right.
It's always just, where are you at now and where are you trying to go? Pat always talks about mountains to climb. Before I even really started working with Pat on a daily basis, I had a mentor. He brought me into the business. He showed me the ropes of finance and insurance and all this, but he wasn't like a leader or anything like that. He just showed me business wise. And I always said to myself, I said, one day, every dream always starts with one day I'll do this. I said, when I was a broke kid, just graduated college, I was a jack of all trades. I said, one day I'm going to be a millionaire living in a penthouse high rise in downtown Miami, and I'm going to know everybody in Miami, and I'm going to be the man. And, I said that when I was 22 years old. Fast forward, I'm 35 years old. I'm living in a penthouse in Miami, made my money. Life's going good, gorgeous girlfriend, the whole deal. And COVID happened. Obviously, it was tough for a lot of people, tougher challenges. And Pat and I were talking about teaming up. He said, what's your goal? I said, well, I'm kind of like living my goal right now. It's kind of cool. I have this opportunity to work with you and life's kind of going my way. I said, what's your goal? He goes, my goal? I want to take over the world, man. I want to take over the world, but not like in a psychopath way. In like, I have so much to give and I have so much to offer the world that I want to spread my message of capitalism and entrepreneurship and love of America and everything we stand for here at Valuetainment. I want to spread that all over the world. I want to take over the world. And now we talk about, the future looks bright on the hat here, everything that we do here. And I said, man, I just wanted to be the man in Miami. That was my goal. He's like, you got to dream bigger, buddy. We're trying to take over the world. I said, okay, great. Sometimes you might think you're here, but you see somebody that sees your capacity to go much further. So some people are underachievers, some people are overachievers, or some people are achievers. I always say, one of the greatest lines in a movie was in Bronx Tale, and an opportunity to spend a lot of time and even interview Chaz Palminteri, if you ever seen that movie. And the movie says the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. We all have talents out there, and nobody wants to look back in their 80s or 90s or whenever they're 100 years old and say, I regret not doing this. I regret not doing this. So PBD inspired me to say, yeah, you're doing okay. You're doing good. You can do better. And I'm so grateful that he took me under his wing, and now I get to learn from him every day.
One of the biggest fears that I I don't anymore, was what you just said, wasted talent, because I feel like that's one of the gravest sins that anybody could admit, is wasting talent. When you lose time and you realize you can't get it back, and then you factor in that's talent that you wasted because you could have been utilizing it in a manner that it was intended to be used. And when it's given to you, there's nothing worse than wasting it. And look, nobody's perfect. We make mistakes throughout life. But once you start to make them and they start to compound and you're not taking accountability for it, and you're blaming everybody else and you're doing this, you wake up one day and you're like 55 years old and you're still doing the same damn thing you were doing, talking about the same stuff, complaining about the same things, never made a change, never tried anything, never did anything. If you don't take a risk, and it has to be a calculated risk, I'm not saying just go be Evel Knievel and be a nutbag, but I'm saying take calculated risks. Some are going to hit and some aren't, but when they hit, it's going to eradicate the You'll never even remember the misses aside from just not making the same mistakes again, but they'll be one airing out the other. And I think that the mindset is everything when it comes to all that we do. And it seems to me, as I've watched you, that your mindset has changed over time on what you see and how you see it. Like I said earlier, I found you to be very fair, even with your own, just like I have my cognitive thoughts and beliefs and whatever they may be. I would do this thing, and I taught my wife this. She'd be like, why are you saying that, because we're not LeBron fans? And I'll say, look, I don't like the guy at all, but I'm going to be fair when I'm giving an accurate assessment about somebody's talent or what they do. Doesn't mean I like him. It doesn't mean that at all. I used to be like that with Draymond Green. I'd tell her, I'd be like, got her into sports with me heavily, so watched everything. And, well, why are you giving him credit? I said, because he's first. Doesn't mean I like him. Doesn't mean I like him at all. But you can't go through everything with a bias on everything and not be fair. Otherwise, you're just like the next person that everybody else is talking bad about. So talk to me about how you've kind of evolved, you've changed your mindset, if that has come from just personal experiences that come from being on the show and listening to other people around you. But why is it that you seem to be the most rational to me on the stats? That's what I'm saying, aside from who clearly has had that effect on you. But, I love the people on the set. I love Vinny, but he's just, when he gets into it, it's like there's no rationale. I'm looking at the other end of the spectrum, and I like fairness, I guess is what I'm saying. I have the same beliefs, and I think some of these things that go on are so insane that I ask myself if we're living in the fucking Twilight Zone. But it's the way it is right now. So how do you stay even keeled? How do you stay fair? How do you do that? Especially when you got other people around you that maybe aren't, that are your friends.
Yeah, well, I'd be lying. I said if it just comes naturally to me, it doesn't. Before I started with valuetainment, EBD said, I want you to read a book. It's called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and it was all the basic premise of Stoicism. And good things are going to happen to you in life, and bad things are going to happen to you in life. And what do they say? That life is 20% what happens to you, 80% of how you react to it. So life is not fair. The one of the least attractive dispositions or character flaws that people have these days are victim mentality. Well, it wasn't fair that I wasn't do that. I didn't have this. Well, why does he get to do that? Well, life's not fair. And we all start at different places in life, and it's, not where you start, but where you end up. And if you're willing to work hard, Charlie Kirk taught me this. He said, two of his favorite words, 4-letter words, are work and earn. And if you earn the right to have a seat at the table, if you earn the right to have an opportunity, if you earn the right, there's no denying that you put in the work. There's been times where I've emotionally reacted to certain situations, and Pat will pull me aside and say, why'd you act that way? Why would you respond that way? I said, what could you have done differently? Like in sports, you watch game film, Draymond Green, right? And I said, maybe I'll take a deep breath. You know what? Let me give that person the benefit of the doubt. Let me put myself in someone's shoes. Let me understand where they're coming. Let me be pragmatic. Let me be a little bit more measured. It's easy to be emotional, Facts don't care about your feelings, so to speak. But put it this way, when I started the BBD podcast, I've been in social media for about 5 years up to that point, right? And I was on Instagram, and it was, encouraging people to be smart with their money and save that money, and kind of hard to hate on that, right? Like the hate comments weren't as plentiful. Occasionally someone would be like, you're an idiot, bro. You don't know about money. Okay, cool. But for the most part, it was 90% positive comments. But then I got into the YouTube world, and ooh-wee. You suck, fire Adam, F you, stupid this, stupid that. I was like, whoa. And that was coming from my friends. So, but these comments, a lot of people, online is not real life. And the people, I always say that the people making these comments, they don't know you. They don't know what you stand for. They're judging you on one comment that they heard on the internet, and they will villainize you and dehumanize you and literally call for your execution just because they don't like the position you took on X, Y, or Z position, whether it's Trump, whether it's the wars that are going on in the world, with the financial position, whatever it is. And you have the ability to say, all right, anytime, now that we talk about Trump, or we talk about Israel, we talk about Ukraine, we talk about these major things, I'll open up my phone, I'll go on the internet or on Instagram, let's say, and I open it up, and sometimes like a message will pop up. Nothing will prepare you for the day until you you wake up. Your first message that you look at is, I hope you die. Go F yourself. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, whoa, I haven't had coffee yet. Yeah. And you just kind of have to laugh at it. Now, given the stakes of today, where we're at today, it's becoming a little close to home, and it's sad and it's crazy, but you can't let people on the internet convince you that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, that you're not qualified enough. Do you have belief in yourself? Or you have that CPR we talked about, consistent, persistent, resilient? Are you going to outwork, out-improve, out-strategize, outlast? It's so easy to quit. It's so easy to give up. It's so easy to be a victim. I'm so grateful from PBD to kind of like fill my cup halfway, because it's so easy to like, it's not fair. Why am I not doing this? Why does this person get this? Well, they worked harder. They deserved it. Okay, that's great. What next? So all of this kind of falls under the victim mentality, and we live in the greatest country in the world. Yes, the United States has problems. Yes, no, there's no country called utopia. There's a reason that people are flooding through the southern border, even the northern border, to get to America. There's a reason that we have the longest line of any country to get into. Why is that? It's because we live in this amazing place. If you were born in America, you were born with a silver spoon, with your passport, with your birth certificate, and take advantage of that. Last point is, we just came back from LA 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, month ago, and Pat was on this Jubilee thing. Did you see any of that? Yeah. Where Pat was a capitalist surrounded by 20 anti-capitalists, and they spoke for hours on end. I was right there, feet away from going on there. And if I could encapsulate what this conversation was, and these are white kids, black kids, Latin, Asian, men, women, the whole thing, one trans person, whatever. Pat doesn't know anything about these people. These people know a little bit about Pat, but this is how I would summarize every single conversation. Life's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Pat says, I believe in you. You can do it. Just try harder. You don't understand where I came from. You don't understand. Life's not fair. Wah. I believe in you. You can do it. You're in America. Lift yourself up. You can do it. Try harder. Okay. No, I don't want to try. It's just constantly that victim mentality. And it's just so unattractive. So anyone out there, any young person out there, any kid that's out there, just if you believe in yourself and you have the ability to walk, to run, to jump, and you live in America, just keep kicking butt and good things will happen. It might take 5 years. It might take 10 years. Good things take time, but good things will happen if you have the right mindset. A lot of people have the wrong mindset, victim mindset. They're choosing to lose before they've even played the game. I wish better for people.
I did that so long where I kept saying to myself, why is it that I feel like I'm doing so great at all this stuff and I never get the credit I deserve, or I don't get the shine, or I'm not getting the eyeballs, or I'm not getting this? Why is it? And I kept asking myself that. And I think that contributed to my always having to, I got to be the king of this and the king of that. And I got to do this to stand out more and do that to stand out more. When in reality, it was my own inadequacies and the things that I was doing wrong or not good at that I gave myself too much credit for. And when I started to look in the mirror and say to myself, dude, it's you. It's you. It can't be everybody else. It's you. What are you doing wrong? And what is it and why? And how are you going to fix it? Just fix it. Take accountability. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got some sort of hardship. We all go through it. There's no human that's ever lived without a hardship. Okay? And I think that part of the problem is, like you said, everybody's got built-in excuses now, and that's been pushed onto everybody. It was already a problem, and now it's just been exacerbated. It's a human problem where we all look, blame game, and make excuses. But now it's just put out on everybody. And the people that make it are the people that are the ones that have the rationale to look at themselves and say, well, shit, maybe it's just me. Maybe this is just the way the world works. And I got two choices. Accept it or don't. And if you don't, you're going to be complaining your whole life. If you do, you figure shit out.
Yeah. We don't know what it's like to grow up prior to, let's say, civil rights, prior to, the 1960s. We don't know what it's like, whether you were black, whether you were a woman and you didn't have the equal opportunity to men, whether gay, you didn't have the same rights. None of that currently exists. There's nothing that a black, a woman, a lesbian, a gay, a this or that, the other, there's nothing systemically that's preventing anyone from doing anything. All those rules are out the window. Now, if you want to say, no, life's still not fair, okay. But systemically, there's nothing stopping you. Charlie Kirk would say this, What can you do that I can't? What can I do that you can't? And the answer is nothing. And if you still want to look for an answer to feed your victim mentality, you'll find it. But the reality is, in America today, the world is your oyster. There's nothing that you can't do if you actually put your mind to it, set goals realistically, and accomplish it. That's the beauty of where we're at. Like, if there's something that you want to summarize America, it's a land of opportunity. And we all have this opportunity to create whatever we want to create, and we can create our own existence. And some people want to live in my truth and my truth. Well, there's only one truth. And if you buckle down, you kick some butt, if you're a young dude out there, yeah, you might be 22, you might be 25. Life might be going your way right now. Trust me. Look at what Dylan's doing right now with his life. You didn't come from the easiest circumstances. I know your story. You know, you took some wrong turns, but look at you now. Life's going great. We have this amazing opportunity to bounce back. America loves a comeback story. So no matter where you're at, if you can reverse course, buckle down and be the man you want to be, good things will happen. It might take time. Good things will not come quickly, but this isn't a microwave in life. We're running a marathon and we want to win the game at the end, not the beginning. So I'm excited for with one of the things we say around here is the future looks bright, right? So as long as you do things the right way, future looks bright.
Yeah, and I want to get into that with you on the future. I just want to make one more point, and that is that every negative situation has the ability to be reversed into a positive situation. That's why we're given those. Actually, a negative thing like that is actually a gift because it's a lesson and it's a guide and it's an aid to help us to achieve something a little bit better. And there is no human that everybody's going to like. And the more that you try to do, the more people are going to love you and the more people are probably going to not love you. You said, I would wake up, my wife, my stepkids, when I first meet my wife, they're reading these things said about me online, and all I'm doing is talking about health and fitness and everything like that. That comes with the territory. If you're going to reach impact, you better be ready to deal with it. If you're not, then it's not for you. But you got to be able to just realize that that's going to happen. If I'm waking up in the morning and that's what I'm thinking about, I got my own internal problem, right? If that's affected me when I get up, it's like, okay, great. I'm going to say my prayers. I'm going to take my shower. I'm going to clean up my neck and look good for camera or whatever I'm doing. And I'm going to go roll.
The bigger you get, the bigger target on your back. That just kind of comes with the territory.
Right. And the more followers you get and the more people that look up to you and love you, the more are going to not like you.
Yeah. Well, that's why Pat wrote his book, Choose Your Enemies Wisely. You want to have some enemies in your life. You want to have some naysayers. You want to have some haters. What do they say? Like, keep grinding until your haters become your appreciators. Or if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. I learned this from watching Jake Paul. And, obviously in life, the best thing you can be is be beloved. I love that guy. He's the best. Everyone loves him. Michael Jordan, whatever. Second best thing you can be is hated, despised, not liked. Okay. Because the third option is, who's that? I don't even know. Irrelevant. So Jake Paul, not a lot of people liked Jake Paul 5 years ago. He was this, social media kid, that was trying to be a boxer. And, I don't like this guy. But what'd he do? He kept grinding, kept winning, kept making money, kept improving. He took his lumps, he took his losses, but he's been a big, big, big winner. And how many people were like, damn, this guy, oh man, I used to hate this guy. Now they at least respect him, you respect what they're doing. Of course, you'd rather be beloved, but beyond that, you'd rather be disliked or despised, or at least respected, than irrelevant. Irrelevancy is no fun. The last thing anyone says is, what do you think about that guy? Never heard of him, because he probably hasn't made a big enough impact. So impact is what it comes down to, and helping others is the name of the game. So if you can impact a lot of people's lives, you're going to have your haters, no doubt. But if you're doing things the right way, it'll all work out in the end.